जय हिंद दोस्तों, मेरे चैनल में फिर से आपका स्वागत है। दोस्तों, आज से करीब 23 बरस पहले यानी 28 मई 1999 की रात वन बिहार रेजिमेंट के मेजर सर्बानंद के नेतृत्व में भारतीय सैन्य टुकड़ी ने बटालिक सेक्टर के जुब्बार पोस्ट जो पाक ने कब्जा कर लिया था उस पर हमला किया और वहां पर रात भर पाकिस्तानी सैनिकों के साथ भीषण युद्ध चलता रहा, जिसमें कई सारे पाक सैनिक मारे गए और 29 मई की सुबह करीब 6 से 7 बजे के करीब भारत के 5 जवान मेजर सर्बानंद सहित नायक गणेश प्रसाद यादव जी, शिवशंकर गुप्ता जी, हरदेव जी वीरगति को प्राप्त कर गए थे, जिसमें वीर शत्रुघ्न सिंह बुरी तरह घायल हो गए थे। दोस्तों, बिहार रेजिमेंट के कारण हम बटालिक सेक्टर के 3 पोस्ट पर कब्जा कर पाए थे। दोस्तों, आइए हम जानते हैं बिहार रेजिमेंट की कहानी उस वक्त वन बिहार के सीओ रहे ब्रिगेडियर ओपी यादव जी की जुबानी।
So I am Brigadier O.P. Yadav, and during Kargil War I was commanding 1st Bihar. Now to understand the role of 1st Bihar, you will have to understand why the Kargil War was fought. If you recollect, in 1999, somewhere in February, the Prime Minister of India, he had visited Pakistan by a bus journey on a peace mission, and he had a meeting with Nawaz Sharif. The background to that meeting is also the fact that in 1998, on 7th May and 11th May, India had carried out the nuclear test, second time after 1974. This was Operation Shakti, and we became nuclear power. Immediately after 1 month, Pakistan has also carried out the nuclear test in June 1998. Therefore, it was feared all over the world that if Pakistan and India have become the nuclear power, any war between the two countries will be very, very disastrous. And therefore, Vajpayee undertook a peace mission to Pakistan. But nobody knew that while the peace mission is going on, the Pakistan Army Chief, General Pervez Musharraf, he is trying something else. In fact, Pervez Musharraf, what he did was, the area which was unoccupied between Mashko Valley and Chor Bhatla, so he planned to occupy those heights during winters and decided to stay on there and capture those areas along the line of control. On 3rd of May 1999, there is one guy, his name is Tashi. He is from Garkhun village. So he went out in search of his yak. When he went toward the heights, he saw some movements, suspicious movements, people standing there. 6 of them he spotted who were in black attire. And he certainly thought that they are not Indians. So he reported the matter down below to a unit commander, 3 Punjab, that there is somebody on top and the digging activities are going on. So the commanding officer of 3 Punjab was located in Batalik. He sent probing patrols to really confirm on ground what is happening. So he sent 2-3 patrols, one along Garkhun Nala, the other one along Yaldor Nala, and both these patrols drew fire, and therefore it was confirmed that yes, certainly they are Pakistanis. On 8th of May 1999, 15 Corps Oblique Northern Command, they decided to launch the offensive and contain the enemy wherever he was. Finally, the information was passed down to Army headquarters in Delhi, and a formal war kind of thing was declared on 14th of May 1999. As far as 1st Bihar is concerned, we were deployed for counter-insurgency operations in Narayan Nag in a summer mode. My 2 companies were on top, that is .5353 and Marshoi. and two companies were on the main road, that is Kangan and Rocky Knob, on the road which is coming from Srinagar and going towards Sonabad. So I received the warning order on 15 that you hand over the charge to Rashtriya Rifles and you move to Kargil because there is some intrusion by the enemy. So I decided to concentrate at Kangan, but because time being short, we moved in two groups. In one group, battalion headquarter, me, and Charlie Company Commander Major Saravanan and Alpha Company Commander Bhandari. Quartermaster was Mohar Singh and adjutant was Lieutenant Shri Kumar R.K. This party left at about 1400 hours and by evening we were in Sonabad. The remaining battalion under battalion 2IC who was officiating Major KPR Hari, Delta Company and Bravo Company, that is under Ajay Singh and Shatrughan, they joined us later. Then next day we crossed Jojila Pass and while we were approaching Pundras, the enemy shelling started and we were told to pull back to Mughalpura village and occupy a harbour. In the meantime, the brigade commander who was on leave, Brigadier Amarwal, he also joined back from leave on 18th and he briefed us that the situation in Batalic sector is also very bad and he will have to detach one of the unit out of the 3 Paltons which he had with him, that was 1st Naga, 18 Grenadiers and 1st Bihar. So I was told, okay, I'll detach 1 Bihar to go to Batalic sector under 70 Infantry Brigade and 3 Infantry Division. I was given 54 vehicles and my unit was ordered to move on 20th of May after a bit of acclimatization in that area and after having collected some winter clothing. Left at last light with headlights off and so the movement was very slow because it was a pitch dark night and vehicles were not allowed to put their headlights on. We crossed Harka Bahadur Bridge, which was the most vulnerable area because enemy air defense guns were directly firing on the road. So one vehicle at a time was able to quickly pass through that area. And by about midnight, say 1 o'clock, I was in Kargil where I met the divisional commander Major General B.S. Batwar and his Colonel G.S. Avatar Singh. They briefed me on the map and told me that in Batalic sector there are 9 points where enemy has intruded and you will have to go and evict the enemy. So from there they gave me a guide of 3 Punjab and I reached a Batalic area in a village called Darchik, which is a Aryan village. So my vehicle was stretched about 5 kilometers and the moment I arrived in the morning, I got a message from the brigade commander, Brigadier Devinder Singh, to meet him at Da helipad. So I left with my runner, that is Ganesh Prasad, and a radio operator Shankar Dayal, along with the 2IC, so we reached helipad. Then he told me that enemy is occupying Jubar Hill and there you go and coordinate the attack of 2 companies of 3 Punjab and 111 GR. I requested brigade commander that I have yet to brief my unit. I should be allowed some time, and since I do not know the troops, it would not be fair for me to coordinate the attack for others. Let 1 Bihar get inducted and thereafter I will do the needful. But he insisted, no, it's a matter of a day or 2, and then I had no choice to agree with him. So I was airlifted from there along with my runner and the radio operator and a guide from 3 Punjab and left on top of the ledge from where point 4624 was about 4 hours walk. So I walked up, and by last light on 21st of May, I reached at point 4624, where Captain Vikram, who was the artillery OP, he received me and he briefed me about the terrain. And I also met Lieutenant Mishra, who was company commander of 3 Punjab, one of the company. He told me that the company of 111 GR will be reaching late in the evening. So therefore I requested the brigade commander, instead of today, we launch the attack tomorrow on 22nd of May. He agreed. Next day I called both Captain Mishra, Lieutenant Mishra, and Lieutenant Manoj Pandey, who later died and got Paramveer Chakra.
Yes,
He is from 111 GR. His company also came. I briefed both these boys. I said, okay, that's the objective which was seen, and we planned the attack will be launched after last light, and you will be provided the limited RT support by Vikram, who has got 2 field batteries in direct support. After having briefed, we were just preparing for the attack, but at about 1400 hours in the afternoon, the weather became very bad. It was cloudy all over, and the Jubbar complex and our area was covered with heavy fog. So we again reviewed the plan and decided that we should take advantage of this foggy weather, and we should launch the attack now at about 3 o'clock, so that command and control is also nicely retained. Both the company commanders agreed, and then we launched the attack at 1500 hours on 22nd. From Pimple towards Jubbar OP. The deployment being very limited, was just 2 men could go at a time. That was a kind of deployability, because razor sharp rages were there. So after completing about 300 to 400 meters of distance, they came under very heavy fire of the enemy, and both the company commanders told me that they are not in a position to move further towards Jubbar. I told them, okay, then you can withdraw. It was a tactical withdrawal that was done, and I got them back to the farm base at Pimple and informed the commander accordingly that I would prefer if my unit is inducted, and then I launch the attack. So the point was agreed, and then on 23rd May, first Vihar was inducted to these areas, and our deployment was that Charlie company was at Banjo, Alpha company was at Pimple, Bravo company was at point 4624, and Delta company was at Juti and Cobra. And we relieved Ladakh scouts, Gurkhas and Punjabis from that place by 24th of May. Then on 28th May, the first attack that I planned on Jubbar with the troops of 1 Bihar. My plan was to launch attacks simultaneously on Jubbar OP and point 4268. So therefore 2 teams were prepared. 1 platoon each were pooled from Alpha, Delta and Bravo company, and another task force of about 3 sections was prepared under Captain Diwas, who was attached with me with Milan missile and some specialists. So 3 task forces were prepared. 1 task force was under Diwas, another task force was the Tamar 2, a JSU from my unit, and 1 more under Niranjan Surain. He was also a JSU from Delta company. So this operation was launched after last light on 28th of May. And the progress was like this, that Captain Revati Bhandari, who was leading the attack towards Jubbar, he was in a position to capture the forward portion of Juba OP, which is also called Madhuri. He also suffered a splinter injury in his leg, but without caring for that, he was able to capture Madhuri area. But unfortunately, Juba OP were reinforced and he was not able to capture that part. On the other hand, that is the team towards 4268. Captain Diwas lost the way and he went down in Garkhun Nala. But Niranjan, Surain and Tudu, they were in a position to reach the ledge area. And at the first light, they could observe about 15 Pakistani soldiers on the river slope of 0.4268 at a distance of about 400 meters. Presuming that now it is daylight and if they take any action against the enemy, the surprise may be out. Therefore, they decided to wait for the night and lie dogo for the whole day. As far as Bhandari's party is concerned, I again made a tactical withdrawal and got them back at Pimple because it was not tenable to stay there at Madhuri without capture of Jivaropi. This side, what happened was that when the JSU was not able to take any action, I sent the message to Major Saravanan to report to me from Banjo to 4624, that was the firm base, to brief him, and thereafter he should launch the attack on night 28th May. Major Saravanan reached at my location at about lunchtime, and after having briefed him and shown the objective, he was told that you link up with the troops which have gone ahead, and he also took about a team of 15 selected soldiers, which included the shatrughan, which you are talking about, and Ganesh Prasad. Both of them got VRC later. He selected those guys and then he left after last night. But in the meantime, at about 1400 hours, a very interesting incident had happened. The location occupied by Pakistanis at 4268 was linked with a cable from Juba. So my party disconnected that cable. As a result, the communication between Jubar and 0.4268 was out, and 2 Pakistani soldiers were sent to repair that line from 0.4268 toward Jubar without knowing that the Indian troops are sitting in between at ledge. When those soldiers came closer, one of the LMG person, he fired at him. One chap escaped and the other was killed. Then later, when his search was carried out, it was found that he was a soldier from Northern Light Infantry, Abdul. His numbers and other details are also there, which I will provide you. And a rifle was also recovered from him. But after this incident, the surprise was out, and from all sides the firing started coming on the team of Pitambar 2. But I instructed them that you continue to stay there, lie low, and evening Major Saravanan will contact you and we will launch attack on 4268. Major Saravanan left after last night, after crossing a ridge in between, that is Markato Ridge. He established the contact with those guys at 0300 hours on 29th of May, that's after midnight. And he, after briefing them, he launched the attack on 4268. About say 3:30, while he had destroyed 2-3 bunkers and he was getting firing from top. He requested for illumination on the objective so that he can see and fire. So the illumination was provided by a artillery shell, star shell it is called, at about 4 o'clock, and Major Saravanan fired rocket launcher and destroyed enemy bunker. And thereafter he reported to me that Nayak Ganesh Prasad has suffered some injury. In the meantime, he got another volley of bullets, and Ganesh Prasad got killed in the action after destroying 2 bunkers and killing 2-3 Pakistani soldiers. I told Major Saravanan that now we are approaching the daylight and you hold on, you again light over, we'll attack next night and I'll reinforce you further. But he insisted that it's a matter of a few minutes and only one odd bunker is left on top which is continuously firing at me and my troops. So he asked me that I should give him the liberty to eliminate those bunkers. I consulted Major Hari and told him that Saravanan should be persuaded not to be so bold under the enemy firing when we are approaching the daylight. But somehow he got convinced with the argument of Saravanan, and Hari told me, sir, I think we should permit him to go ahead if he is so confident. So I allowed him to go ahead, and he started attacking. In this attack we lost another 2 chaps, and within about say next half an hour I got a news that Major Saravanan has been hit by automatic fire and he is killed. So we lost that officer and 2 other men, and obviously the morale of the troops had gone down after they lose their commander. Then I contacted radio operator C.B. Singh, Chandrabhushan Singh. This boy, he explained the situation, and he told me that Abdullah, who was a Ikhwani, a surrendered militant who was there with Saravanan, he tried to lift the body of Saravanan to bring it back, but he also got a bullet injury in his thigh. Without caring for his injury, he dragged the body for about say 50 meters and brought it under some kind of cover. But the stalemate continued. We had also killed about 13-14 Pakistani soldiers whose bodies are also lying there. Then next night, I tried to retrieve the body, sent Lieutenant A.J. Singh to retrieve the body of Saravanan. But again, we lost a boy there that day and we could not retrieve the body. Then they carried out a little withdrawal from there to come on a little height and a dominating place. All the people had come, but except Shatrughan, who after suffering the injury on his leg, on his shin bone, which was absolutely broken and he was not in a stage to walk. He crossed his hands and said, okay, you people can go, I will manage myself. Thereafter we would have fired at point 4268 at least 1,000 rounds of ammunition, artillery ammunition. And after waiting for about 4 days, I declared him dead, missing in action, body not retrieved, and sent the signal all over. In fact, Saravanan's family also, Shatrughan's family would have received the signal and they would have been very upset. But another wonder took place on 9th of June, when Khobraro, the post which was on the right end on the Garkun Nala, they spotted one individual on the Nala who was, having a weapon and lifting his hands. So they reported that one Pakistani soldier is spotted and he is trying to surrender. So let's him catch alive. So when they sent the party and when they went closer, they saw it is Shatrughan, and they brought him back to the post. He was not in a position to speak, and he had developed maggot in his leg. Doctor attended him, but his bravery is commendable because on the way he had shot one Pakistani soldier. He took his weapon and identity card. So he was evacuated from there to Command Hospital, Chandi Mandir, and I requested a doctor who told me that gangrene has taken place and his leg will have to be cut. I told him, do whatever you wish to, but please make sure that his leg is saved, because he is a legendary who will be, telling a lot of stories about the war. He has been in the war zone for 9 days under intensive fire, without any food, without any water. How he managed, that's a story I think he has already given in one of his videos. So having done that, then there was a battle of stalemate. All these bodies could not be retrieved. Then finally we launched the attack on Jubbar on 6th of July. On 6th July, during daytime, while we were firing, our mortar fired on the ammunition dump of the enemy and it caught fire. The enemy came under panic and he started running away from there. And also the rocket regiment in 15 units fired continuously at Jubbar top, and Jubbar top had become like a fireball, and enemy was very almost destroyed, or those remnants who were there, they were running back. That's the time that I told KPR Hari, Delta Company Commander, to launch the attack. He launched the attack on Jubbar, and by midnight on 6th of July, we had captured Jubbar. From the other side, Lieutenant Bhandari, Revati Bhandari, he captured point 4924 and 4927. And then V.K. Rai, he also contributed in capturing the remaining portion of the Jubbar. So by the first light, entire Jubbar complex was with us. And then on the next day, then we captured point 4927, other side of Jubbar towards north, and linked up with Gadwal rifle, 17 Gadwal rifle, which also launched the attack from China Nala.
Yes, sir.
Then on the next night, we captured Tharu. So by 9th morning, after capturing Tharu by Captain A.J. Singh and Shatrughan, we linked up at Kukarthang with the 1st 11 GR, who had captured 4812 feature and Kargil. So by 9th of July, the entire complex was cleared of the enemy, and our task was complete. Enemy had also retreated, and by I think 14th, the entire area was cleared of the enemy. But Government India officially declared 26th of July as the Vijay Diwas Day. Actually, we were still in a position to push the enemy further back, but the orders were there. We were not allowed to cross the line of control, and therefore the operation ended there. This is the whole story in nutshell. But details can be, if you want to ask any question about this, I can tell you.
Yes.
Thank you.